Definitely see why you like this one. So it's not early, it's not chuggy, it's not flippy, it's not...
Yeah, it's just kind of right in the middle of everything, and you can, a couple that you missed inside, it just kind of sits there, and if you get it out, it still picks up and finishes.
Roll it. And it strikes.
So yeah, it is kind of mesmerized, wicked collision-ish. It's just a little smoother.
Yes. Yeah, I don't feel like it's any different spot. It's just not a... I wouldn't say those are checkmark type, but this is just even smoother.
But it's smooth without being lazy.
Yeah,
because it's still picking up and...
Yes. Yeah, there's an obvious direction change, but it's not slow about it, but it's not cohesion bonkers.
Yeah.
Welcome to a bonus swag review for their big oil monster, the Judge. With Angel throwing so much of the big strong stuff from other companies like the Mesmerize, Zigzag Solid, Wicked Collision, One Reverb, so on and so forth, we thought this one would fit great and would help us get an even better idea how the Judge stacks up with the competition. If you're new here, I'm a longtime Pro Shop guy, and I've now uploaded over 2,000 videos with the goal of helping you know what you're buying so that you can waste less money and enjoy bowling more. I've got a full standard review up front and then an in-depth live commentary in the back half of the video. We are at Royal Crest Lanes in Lawrence, Kansas on the Kegel Chromium Challenge pattern. It's 42 feet long, 25.5 mils. The graph is linked in the description if you want all of the pattern details. The Judge is your prototypical big asymmetric oil monster. The 15-pound RG is 249, the differential is 052, and the int diff is 019. These numbers are right in line with the typical heavy oil asyms from virtually every other company. Witness Solid is the cover, and it comes at 2500 grit, though of course everything for Angel gets 1000 grit on the Diamond Dust pads, which actually really helps us compare stuff that may come at different box surfaces. I think you can already see that it's strong too, so this isn't an X-Cell type of ball, even though the colors are actually very similar. It's more in Gem, Jackal Onyx, and Mesmerize territory. I'll continue to reinforce that the swag balls feel like a mixture between all the other brands, and I'm actually working on a bigger report card kind of video for the entire relaunch that should be out in another week or so. They're cleaner up front like Storm balls, so even though this is a strong ball with a lot of surface, it's not locking up or burning up on her at all. The covers see the lane like B7 balls, so they're very stable, consistent, and controllable, and they're smoother and more gradual down lane like Motive balls, so while you might get a flat hit here and there because they're a little slower, they don't burn up or give up. They have that gradual climbing continuous motion to them. The other major thing that stands out is that they're insanely forgiving left to right. This was something that was consistent with me that I noted in all of my videos. You can tug it and watch it sit there, or get it way out and it'll come back. But they're honestly average front to back. If you get a little slow with the speed, they'll hook. If you get a little fast, they'll be a little slower late. Not excessively, just kind of on par with Motive in that regard. Storm usually gives you forgiveness getting slow or tugging the ball. B7, you can usually throw it too hard or get it too far out and it'll recover. And Motive is similar, that it's balanced on front to back, but you usually have a lot of miss room from side to side. Angel also has had some mechanical yips here lately. We've both been a little out of sorts for a couple filming sessions now. Just enough to be fighting something and cause some problems or make it more difficult than it has to be, but the Judge covered up a lot of stuff for her here. Like I said, lots of forgiveness left to right. Tugged some that just sat there, and dumped some others that pulled up and got back from way out there. Remember, this is a challenge pattern. You shouldn't be able to get hold at 10 or 11, but get recovery from 3 or 4. That's actually kind of obscene. If you're typically consistent with your speed and rev rate, but have trouble missing left or right, your game would benefit significantly from a swag ball. I've mentioned this here and there, but I was surprised to find that the Judge has been the ball I've thrown the most out of the swag stuff. I thought it was going to be too much ball. However, also been throwing the Jackal Onyx a lot too. I thought that one was going to be too much as well, but it's worked out. The Judge fits nicely in the in-between zone. It's not super early and slow, but it's not super clean and sharp either. Naturally, it wouldn't be the latter at 1000 grit, and she mentions this in the live comm in the back half of the video, but it's just very balanced. Like I mentioned in the Hammer special effect review, I think we've both gotten used to the super fast reaction of the HK22 cohesion balls that are very strong and dynamic, and while they give you a lot of confidence in the ball reaction, sometimes they can be too much. When you're used to that, you kind of feel like you've got to stay really aggressive at your release, but when something like this comes along that's a little tamer, it can be a bit of an adjustment, kind of slowing down or relaxing a little. This was just a nice easy walk down the side. She was even able to move back right a bit because while it was picking up strong and getting there, the smoother, more gradual back end reaction let her square up somewhat. I've also said this before, but while I don't think any of the swag balls are necessarily special, it's kind of exciting to have a new brand be legitimately competitive. I have no issue recommending any of these balls to anyone. They've actually been very popular so far. The Black Dragon has been in extremely high demand, matter of fact. And like I said, I've thrown the Judge a lot to quite a bit of success. The Fusion's gotten has gotten a lot of time. The Crazed Pearl has impressed a lot of people when I've pulled it out, so on and so forth. I think for the relaunch, they wanted to go somewhat safe. That's why they tweaked or updated some existing cores and went with some really reliable and solid reactions, rather than trying to push it or get abstract or extreme with anything. Everything is very consistent, controllable, predictable, and really solid. Nothing's going to blow your socks off or look especially impressive on video. They're just going to get there and do the job over and over again. Very blue-collar reaction. Angel's thrown it all over the place so far and has paid for it significantly fewer times than she deserves, so if you're looking for something different on a budget, give the swag stuff a shot. I'm really interested to see what they come out with next, maybe a solid sanded Unreal or a Pearl Judge or Dragon. I'm on board with what they're doing and expect it to just get better from here. If you like your jersey, by the way, code ROSEDALL10 at checkout will knock 10% off one of these. Same discount code for 3D printed ball cups and spinners from Scarred Prints. Plus, there's a discount link for 10% off a Nexus backpack, their new journal, or other products. And finally, an email address for custom handcrafted items like pens, bottle openers, stoppers, and even bowls made out of old bowling bowls. All kinds of other great and helpful things in the description. Also, take a look at my YouTube memberships, where for just $5 a month, you can get all my videos early and ad-free, plus exclusives. We'll compare it first to the Brunswick Mesmerize. That's probably been one of her highest mileage balls in this territory. It came out in August. She shot her first 300 with it. She still throws it pretty often. It's one of those best of both worlds balls where it's strong and hooks a lot, but it's really versatile for a heavy oil ball and can do a lot of different things on a lot of different conditions. I think it's obviously sharper than the Judge. HK22 cohesion balls are going to be sharper or more dynamic than anything else out there, but they both fit well for what they do. Mesmerize is a little higher RG. I think it's meant to be one of those strong but jack-of-all-trades balls. Hangs out on heavier oil, but is sharper than your typical strong, smooth hook monsters. It's strong but usable with some lane shine on medium to heavier house shots. Pretty versatile across the lane. Just one of the more versatile, strong, heavy oil ASIMs I've ever seen, period. The Judge is more in the traditional heavy oil ball direction, but it's still no slouch. It's a lot more forgiving left to right, too. The Mesmerize wants to hook and boom, so there's no getting slow or missing inside at all. It's going to go if it gets the chance, while the Judge controls the lane a little better. There's room for both. Sometimes you need the more dynamic look if there's a lot of oil or the back ends are slow, and sometimes you need the lane manager if the lanes are really tight or difficult or unforgiving. Next, we'll take a look at the Wicked Collision, and despite the Wicked coming shiny, I think the general consensus has been that it looks a lot better with surface, and that's what everything gets for Angel anyway. This shape is more familiar to the Judge. There's actually not a lot of difference between the two across the board. Very similar core numbers. I think the cover on the Wicked is a little stronger and it looks a little heavier rolling to me, but that may be splitting hairs because realistically there's a lot of the same things going on here. Once again, the swag stuff is obviously actually competitive. It's not hype or fluff or doing my duty as a Bowler's Mark guy to promote the product. Turn the sound off. Don't listen to me. Just watch the balls roll and see what you think. I've said this before, telling a story or talking you into something doesn't do either of us any good, because if I do that, you end up with a $200 paperweight and I end up with one less viewer. There's plenty of bowling balls out there, you gotta buy equipment to play the game, and I want you to keep watching videos, so this is a team effort here. I think the Judge is definitely smoother than any of the HK22 cohesion balls. It's again more in line with something like a Jackal Onyx or Harsh Reality, your more typical heavy oil ball. The Wicked and Mesmerize are punchier or more dynamic, but the Judge is a little more stable and forgiving, and it's in strong contention to be one of my few reactive balls going to Nationals specifically because of that. Once again, the Swag Judge is available now. Most of you should be able to order it through your Pro Shop actually, but if you can't, I've got a link in the description that will take you to Bowler's Mart to pick one up. Don't forget to check out the description before you get out of here, and remember to stick around for the in-depth live commentary coming up next. This video was brought to you by Panda Bear Productions. We put the in in bowling. Thanks for watching, and may the strikes be with you.
Sweet. I actually really like the logo on it. Whoa! Don't fall. Sweet. Am I doing anything wrong at the moment?
You're really
Okay.
clenching on it through the release.
That last one, I felt like I grabbed it, but
Maybe grab the last several.
I was just more, that's the only one I noticed. I didn't notice the other one. Oh, don't. Darn it. I think my balance is off, so I'm grabbing it. Away. Don't grab it.
Just need to keep your elbow in and kind of let it feed. It looks like you're trying to help it.
Hear the logo.
Yeah, that little catch at the bottom is why it's kind of bogging down and hitting flat a couple times.
Feels better too. Like I don't feel like I'm exerting, like it's not a,
Yeah.
I don't feel when I'm doing it, but as soon as I don't do it, then I can tell the difference. Definitely see why you like this one. So it's not early, it's not chuggy, it's not flippy, it's not.
Yeah, it's just kind of right in the middle of everything, and you can, a couple that you missed inside, it just kind of sits there, and if you get it out, it still picks up and finishes.
Roll it. And it strikes.
So yeah, it is kind of mesmerize, wicked collision-ish. It's just a little smoother.
Yes. Yeah, I don't feel like it's any different spot. It's just not a, I wouldn't say those are check mark type, but this is just even smoother.
But it's smooth without being lazy.
Yeah,
Because it's still picking up and
yes. Yeah, there's an obvious direction change, but it's not slow about it, but it's not
yeah,
cohesion bonkers.
yeah.
stepped it a little. And it shows. 2 slow steps. That's better. Ah, darn it.
Your shoulders are really closing on you, so that's why you're tugging it.
I think I'm so focused on getting down that I'm kind of like bending over forward.
Just make sure the shoulder drops too.
One felt better?
Still kind of, that one came off really slow. Your
Okay.
backswing goes up high and then you kind of slow it down and then you're not quite driving through it. It still looks like you're being a little tentative with it.
Okay.
That was better. You kind of launched it, but
Yeah. Well, those balls make me look good, I guess.
Yeah, you might move right a little bit because it looks like you feel like you're having to grab it to make it hook. That was better because it's still hooked from the other spot. It just looks like you felt like you were too deep, or like your head knew that you were too deep, and so you were kind of subconsciously trying to help it.
It's probably more my fault. Maybe it's just because it's so, like guess maybe I'm used to it's gonna go.
Yeah.
Whoa, don't fall. I guess I'm supposed to do that.
Yeah, this one you can just kind of be a little easier with. You don't have to chuck it to get it down the lane.
Ooh.
That one
But I
you
missed.
really
Yeah.
closed up on. Yeah, everything was still aiming that way. So whatever you're looking at, you need to reposition your perspective. Yeah, your shoulders are still like aiming at the 7-pin. So I think it's part of where you're starting out. You're starting out with the ball in front of you again.
Huh?
You're starting out more like this instead of like, and so that's what I was saying about your perspective. It seems like you're aligning yourself with the head pin or something. So kind of look more at the 6-pin and act like that's the head pin and kind of align.
Yeah, that's where I started looking.
Okay.
But I mean, unless I'm looking at like 4, I don't know what to. I don't think it's where I'm looking. Is my point.
It's just as soon as you start walking, you look like you're shooting a 4-pin.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't look left of the head pin unless it's a spare, ever.
Oh, well, it just, whenever you start looking, you're walking at the 4-pin.
Yeah, I don't know.
So try to bend over a little bit more. You're really upright and kind of left while you're walking, and then that's why you're doing this kind of thing.
Yeah, if I focus on my shoulders back, I stay upright. So then
Well, I don't
I'm
want
like
your
all
shoulder-
mechanical.
I don't want your shoulders back. I want them open.
Back and open to me are the same.
No, completely different things.
But I'm telling you, to me, they're the same. So then I don't understand.
Well, back is like this, open is like this.
Then that's more turned. That's not open.
Open is more turned. That's
Then say turned.
Well, no, open means you open up.
I don't understand bowling.
There you go.
It's my left arm.
Oh, okay.
Where my left arm is, it pulls my other shoulder.
Oh, okay.
That was a roll. Ah, split. Darn.
Yeah, because you do this when you start, and then when you start walking, you do this. So you actually, as you're going into your push away, you're like driving it with your shoulder.
So it's not so much a drop, it's a push.
Yeah, so you're pushing, and so that's what's leading. You're leading with your shoulder, and so that's just turning you completely sideways. That was better. It's just still a little grabby.
Don't grab it. Nice and easy roll. Well, even with my terrible timing and form, these things make me look like I know what I'm doing. Hey, night for one.